People forget about filters and amplifiers in their marketing, and we see this in approvals. I know all of you guys have heard this, but I just want to cover it one more time. Every message you deliver to your customers in your blog, on your Facebook page, in printed materials, even when you're speaking with them, it's either a filter, an amplifier, or neither. And if it's a filter, you need to get rid of it. I mean, unless you're really disqualifying people that you really, really don't want. If it's an amplifier, leave it in, and if it's neither, consider getting rid of it and making your ad cleaner or making your message more succinct. So if you take $75 off, but you advertise it as it's a $199 special, that's a filter. Seems expensive. They don't know that what your original price was. If you leave the price off and say $75 off, that's an amplifier. And this gives us a chance to sell the person on the website if they go to the website, or it gives client services a chance to sell them. The price is the same either way, but it's a big difference in the response rate and how you word things. We meet at 5:30 a.m. as a big filter. We always ask people to get rid of this type of information. If a person calls client services, we can remind them that there's no traffic at 5:30 a.m. and you get used to it, and it's worth it, and lots of people do it, and it makes you feel great all day. If they see 5:30 a.m. on your blog, on your printed material, they're just going to go ahead. You're just filtering that person out. We're not getting a chance to sell them, and you're not getting a chance to sell them. Workout, rain or shine is a filter. We don't want them to think about that or how cold it is. Sometimes I see Facebook posts and it's like, oh, it was 12 degrees and raining this morning. Great job. Well, that makes your campers feel good, and it makes a good story for them. But it's a huge filter for referrals. It's like, oh my God, those people are working out in the rain and the cold. They erroneously think that will make them sick. And I always love We Are Great with Beginners because people are very reluctant to take boot camp, and fear is a big thing that keeps people out of our camps. Customer pipeline is something you need to think about when you're putting together your marketing plan. Suspects are people that may not know about you very much. They're people that are able to take your program. They're healthy enough to take it. They can do it, but they really don't know about you, or they're just potential. They fit in the target market. They live close enough. Your goal is to turn them into prospects. And prospects are people that have maybe called you or came by or picked up a card with your information on it, or maybe stopped into the website. And prospects are also called leads. It's the same type thing. And then a customer is a person that bought once. They are your customer. You've got a chance to turn them into a member, and we're defining that as a person that's bought again, and they have, a member knows that your service is worth what you charge for it, and hopefully they know it's worth more than what you charged. They have a sense of belonging. They've got to know you a little better. Maybe they've referred some people, and then your real goal is to turn these folks into advocates and then raving fans. An advocate is somebody who will sell you to other people. They'll brag on you and their results and tell people how great you are. And a raving fan can't stop selling you. They're crazy, and this is what you really want, a good kind of crazy. And so, marketing is not just getting the leads and turning them into customers. It's the whole funnel of turning everyone into a raving fan. And this is something you need to think about when you put together your marketing plan. There's 5 ways you can build your business. You can get more prospects, and let's say you do a mailing to 3,000 people. You've reached 3,000 people. They know you're there. And if you convert just 0.1%, that's 3 customers. And then if each customer you can get to repeat 3 times at an average of $230, $690 of revenue, and your costs are $100 per camper, you've made $390 profit. Well, if your communication is better and you're not filtering out people, and the people you're targeting are more specific because you know your customer, like we spoke before, maybe you can have a 0.2% rate, and this this almost doubles your profit, obviously. So it's important that you think about each stage of your business. It's not just reaching the most people. It's not just converting them. It's also the repeats and what kind of price you can maintain and how you control your costs. And so this is a case where you need to think of the whole pipeline from prospect to customer to repeat customer to raving fan. To be good at this, you have to do a lot of activities. You have to try a lot of different things. And I know we're all busy and we have lots of things going on, but some of these things only take 10 minutes. And if you were to do 4 or 5 of these things a day, take an hour or two, that'd be 150 marketing acts per month. And you would have a huge amount of business if you could do that, or just try it. If you try 10 things and 2 of them work, that's a huge success. Then you know not to do those 8 things, and you know to take those 2 things that worked and amplify them or replicate them. So if doing a deal with a health food store got you 2 members, well, go find the other 5 health food stores, and then that could be 10 members. So if you're not busy doing a lot of different types of activities, you're really going to miss out. And a lot of these things don't take a whole lot of time. They just take planning and a little discipline to get them done. So you've got to try a lot of different activities and strategies. You must collect the data, and we're going to talk about that in a second. If you don't know what's working and what's not, you're going to waste a fortune in time and money. And you've got to measure the results. Evaluate what worked and what didn't. You're going to repeat the things that worked and expand or amplify the things that worked. And this is the way you can get leverage doing these things. If something didn't work, don't waste your time on it. Don't think, well, it'll work next time. I've just got to change it a little bit. If it didn't work, it didn't work. And also don't believe the ad people that say, well, the person has to see your ad 6 times or 8 times or 12 times before they buy. That kind of advice makes the people that sell ads very rich, but it doesn't put a lot of people in your camp. This is very important. You have to know where each and every camper came from. Every camper that's in your camp, you should know where they came from. One way is to ask when they're filling out their waiver. Technically, they're supposed to fill out a new paper waiver for each camp. Just put a blank on there. Edit the document or get a rubber stamp. But very specifically, you should ask them where they heard about you. My friend Jessica Johnson referred me. I saw your yard sign. Very specific. And if you're missing data for someone that filled out a waiver, call them and get it, or catch them in camp and get it, and make sure you have it. Without this data, you're in trouble. And so here's an example of a simple tally for, let's say, for 3 months. I did a $900 mailing. I got 1 camper. That wasn't worth it. I did a deal with a restaurant. I wrote 2 newsletters for them a month, and I got 3 campers, and I got $825. Yeah, that's worth it. I did a shoe store deal. I did a friends and family program, and it cost me $160 because putting a camper in camp costs you something. If they get a T-shirt or a logbook or who knows what. So if you don't know where each and every camper came from, you cannot do this analysis. And so it's extremely important that you really know where people found out about you. You got to know how your camps work. You got to know your referral rate. If you have 10 new campers, is that going to lead to 3 referrals, or 5, or 6, or 2, or 1, or half a referral? This is something you should know and something you can figure out. Your average price you can figure out by looking at your settlements. Your average margin you can figure out by looking at your settlements and also including, dividing how much you pay your team leads by the number of campers and dividing your coffee bill by the number of campers. You should know your repeat rate. On average, how many times does a person come back? Is it an average of twice? Is it 3 times? Is it 3.5? And then you should know your cost to serve each camper. And that's all of your costs every month divided by the number of campers. That's your cost to serve. Most people do that with leaving out advertising, marketing costs, and what you pay yourself, but including things like I spend $2 at the graduation party on each person, tipping the bartender, and I spend $3 on a hat, or all the little costs that add up to serving one of your campers. If you have this information, you can figure out what an average customer is worth, and it's not as simple a question as you might think. In this example here, my average price is $229. I can figure that out from my settlements. My average margin is $129, and this assumes a $100 cost to serve per camper. My campers on average come back 3 times. Some people only come once. Some people come 5. And every new camper I get brings me half a person in referrals. And so I'm going to switch over to an Excel sheet that demonstrates all this a little better. And this Excel sheet is in the files. And so if you guys use this sheet, and if you know these facts, you can figure out what a customer's worth. So in this case, it cost me $108 to serve a camper, and that's a royalty, a logbook, a client service fee, a t-shirt, all the different things. I know that my customers on average take 3 camps. Some people take 1, some people take 5, some people take 9. And I know that if I had 10 new campers, I would get 4 referrals out of that, because I'm doing a great job and everybody loves what I'm doing. And so with this logic, I make $363. That's 3 camps times $121. But also, I'm going to get half a person in referrals from that, and they're going to come 3 times. And half a person times 3 is 145. And guess what? That half a person is going to refer half a person. If this was 50% instead of 40%. And so the purpose of this exercise is to determine what your customer's worth. And so if I asked you, would you spend $500 to get one new customer? Well, yeah, in this situation you would, because a customer's worth $720. And to get a 50% referral rate, you're going to have to be doing a really good job and asking for referrals. An average of 3 camps is probably doable. The other thing you can do with this, sheet is play with it a little bit and say, well, I really need to cut costs. What if I can cut out $8? Well, that makes my average customer worth go up to $768 from $720, so that's worth about $50. But if I can get people to take 4 camps instead of 3, wow, that really bumps up my average customer worth. Or if my referral rate is crummy, that crushes my customer worth, right? If I can bump up this referral rate, it's $200 more. And so this is a fun thing to play with, to know what your customer's worth. If you don't know what each new customer is worth, you don't know how much to spend to get a new customer, right? And so that goes back to these other slides, and really knowing these facts about your business, and knowing where each customer came from, and knowing where each customer came from, what you've spent promoting or marketing or advertising. And along with this analysis will really tell you if it's worth it, if what you're doing is worth it. And if you don't know these things, you're kind of poking around in the dark. And so I kind of zip through this stuff. Please feel free to call me and let's talk about it, or we're going to have a conference call to talk about this stuff. If you want help putting your plan together, just let us know. We will help you with these exercises. We will help you get the data. We will brainstorm with you on different outside-of-the-box ideas or partnerships that you can try. Again, let me know if I can help you, and thanks for listening.